Welcome back today, guys. We have our CGC cards back from grading. We're going to just go over them just to show you what I got on those ones, maybe talk about the grading process a little bit. And I did intend to open that Japanese remix bout pack when I did this video, but I'm also very impatient and I ended up doing it anyway, just off camera for fun. Got this Charizard Braxton. Cool card. Not the top one of those two that you want in the set, but very sick art. Japanese card, very cool. Got that offline for market price, and yeah, I mean, overall, very cool card out of it. I'm happy with it in the end. So I did get a Journey Together pack to open for this card review as well, and I figure I'll do that while I talk about my process. So for this batch of cards, I sent in cards that I expected like 7s to 9s. If I wasn't like, oh, this is definitely a 9, maybe a 10, after I like really looked over them, then they went here. I had a reverse foil error card that I was sending in here anyway, so I decided to send a batch of more damaged cards that I didn't expect PSA to grade well, so I didn't want to spend on that and wait the turnaround time. Maybe the Dark Charizard I would have sent to PSA, but I was hopeful for a 9 on it, but, you know, like I said, if I was not like, oh, that's definitely a 9, maybe something more, I ended up just going CGC. Cheaper, quicker turnaround, and most of these are going to end up being stuff I sell anyway. So if it wasn't high grade, it wasn't going to be worth it for PSA, in my opinion. I do have cards out to PSA, so we're waiting on them. All right, so let's get into this. Maybe we get lucky on this and get a Clefairy. Legato, Rookidee, Clink, Nimble, Corviknight, got a Spiky Energy, we got a Super Potion, Cool Cubone, and Alambre, and Dunsparce EX. Alright, well, it's a double rare. It's a cool card. Let me get something to sleeve that up. Alright. Yeah, I've had pretty good luck lately, and I mean, this is just a cool card overall. It's nothing crazy, I don't think. I haven't looked at the price list since last week, really. I did check briefly. A lot of things have dropped. The Lily's Clefairy opened at like a $400 card raw, and it's now settling at like $225, probably $200, something like that. A lot of cards have gone down. There's more coming out. There's a lot more supply, so. But yeah, so cool card. We will get into our review, but again, I sent cards that if I wasn't positive of a 9 after real close scrutiny, didn't send them to PSA. I did send some more damaged cards that I expect to be low grades in here too, that I could still sell and figure like double my money on grading, why not? Or I was like, all right, also worst case scenario, personal collection stuff I can give away, keep, something cool like that, just to maybe get you guys involved and say thank you for the support up until this point. So we might end up doing that as well in the future. So we'll just get right into this. So first up, I thought this card was a little bit better, but it's a Raichu from the base set. Got a 6.5. Very cool card still. I think, I mean, there's a little bit of wear on the corners and the top, but I didn't think that would knock it all the way down. So I'm guessing the condition of the hollow under close examination, there is some scratching, but you know, 7.5 on wouldn't have been out of the question, but 6.5 it got. And yeah, that's our first one. It costs about $15 a piece to grade these cards plus shipping. So I would say each card averages about like $16.50 in the end with the amount I sent. So we got a Jolteon from Pokemon Jungle, hollow, 6.5 again. Unfortunate. I can see that the bottom, you can see some of the foil shining on the bottom edge, and this hollow's a little bit scratched. Yeah. The back and like the edges aren't that bad on it, but yeah, that's a big detractor down there. That's alright though. It's a cool card still, one of the Eevee evolutions. So these are the type of cards that like maybe I'll do a giveaway if I don't sell them, type of thing. We have a bunch like that. I have so many more to send too. So we got a 7 on the Alakazam. Again, I can see a little bit of hollow coming through at the bottom. and top. So like this being a 7 looks worse to me than the last 2 cards, but it is what it is. So Alakazam, big Psychic fan. So I would love the full art Spoon Man of him. Maybe I will buy that. I prefer to pull things instead of buy singles. That's not the most efficient way to do it, but again, I grade a lot of cards just to sell, so at the end of the day, it's going to be worth it for me. The best cards I send to PSA. Even with my sports cards, they went to PSA, the best ones. I do, like if you see in the last video, those were mostly like mid-range ones that I'm going to get graded for cheap, get back fast, flip them, and do it again, okay? The Joe Burrow I could have sent away to PSA, but like my Caitlin Clark big hits, they go to PSA. PSA value difference for that is enough to warrant the extra money and the wait time. So it's the same concept for the Pokemon cards here. So here's the Dark Charizard that I thought maybe I was hopeful got a 9. It ended up getting an 8. So that's why I was like, I thought it was going to get a 9, but I was hopeful of that. So that's why I said I could have sent this to PSA. Maybe it would have. Who knows? There's plenty of videos out there on grading and how you can crack a card and send it back, the same exact card to the same exact company, and get a better score. So that seems a bit silly to me. There's more instances than I'd like of that. So next card is one that I definitely knew was not going to be great. It's a cool card, but the edges were real messed up. The holo looked good to me and all that, but yeah, the edges were real damaged, and it ended up getting a very poor grade. But it's a cool ass card, so. But it's a really cool card, so I'm not too concerned about it. Dark Dragonite got a 5.5. That is our worst grade, and I was surprised it graded that low. I mean, there is significant wear. And it also looks like there's a piece of debris that they packed in. Where's it at? Oh, it just moved. Okay, yep. So it was right here just now, and in the original photo they put after they grade it and put online, it was down here, but now I don't see it at all. It looked like a little white piece of like pack debris that they encased in there. I don't see it currently. I'm sure I will eventually, but Dark Dragonite. So even at a 5.5, this is gonna end up selling for like $50 if I wanted to sell it. But I probably won't, because even with the bad grade, it's one of the desirable cards from that set. So that might just be something we hold on to. And next is a Mewtwo that I wanted an 8. I thought it was going to be a good card, but it got a 7. My favorite Pokemon, so sort of whatever. The edges, there's a little bit. I guess it's a little top heavy, because in that the centering is really relevant. The sports cards, it's not, I feel like it's not as bad usually. You're more looking for like print lines and stuff in sports cards, where like you can see the top border here is heavier than the bottom. So that type of thing does matter. And the bottom edge, I guess there is some hollow, which I don't remember seeing, but I suppose was there. I take pictures, and I suggest you take pictures of all your stuff before you send it in. Thorough pictures, because again, sometimes they do damage things and still encase them. And again, all of this is stuff you can see. You can look it up. There's many instances of cards being cracked and regraded higher from the same company, and like cards going in one condition and maybe ending up with a little nick, like ding on it somewhere or something, a nick of some sort. But that's generally not what happens. That one's a more rare thing. So Aerodactyl. This is not the one that I thought was. This is a 6. This was the bad one of the 2, I believe, that I have. The other one didn't score that much better, so I was wrong on that one. Absolutely, but yeah, again, Aerodactyl. This is the bad one. I would say that because there was visible scratching up top. I probably thought it was alright at first, but yeah, no. Glad I did not send this to PSA. So again, so far it seems like I made a right decision after scrutinizing them into where I sent them. Alright, so this one was just like, it's not a crazy card or anything, but I thought it was going to get a 10, so I just sent it, and that's Lieutenant Surge's Jolteon, and it got a 9. So, yeah, the corners have enough of an issue, I guess, in that bottom corner. That's likely a giveaway card, just for someone's personal collection, as is this next one. Sending in first edition, non-hollow, Wigglytuff, 7.5. Surprised got a 7.5 and not higher, honestly. It's a little heavy on the bottom, you can see. So I guess that coupled with the top corner and the bottom corner on the one side. But, alright. Then we have first edition Clefable from Fossil. Or, I'm sorry, from Pokemon Jungle. That got an 8. It's cool. Yeah, this was a card that I thought felt better about. I really do. Because, yeah, it's a pretty good card if it grades high as PSA. And another first edition Venomoth, 7.5, which there's a little whitening there on the bottom, and I guess one of the edges. Sorry. It looks like there's a hair encased in the bottom, which is crazy. I don't know how that happens. Can I get it so you can see? Probably not, but it looks like an eyelash or like a nose hair or something. That's kind of wild, but alrighty then. That's weird. So this other stack is the stack I sent. So I sent them in 2 boxes to them, like 2 containers in the same box, just to separate. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! And I thought this was the more damaged cards. These are the cards I expect less of, and this has the reverse foil error in it. Yeah, so Gengar got a 6. And we got a Flareon Hollow from Pokemon Jungle with a 6.5. Dark Machamp. I thought, actually, this one I thought was going to get an 8. I thought both of them would get an 8. Oh, it's got a 7.5. Yeah, that's, so, like, that's the weird thing about a half. Like, what if I cracked it, didn't damage it doing that, and sent it back in? Would I get an 8? It's certainly possible. And there's the other one, also 7.5. Because, like, from a centering standpoint, it's not that bad, but maybe it's diagonal, something like that. Yeah, I don't know nearly as much about these. Alright, these are the 3 Yu-Gi-Oh! We'll do them last. Alright, so this was the Aerodactyl that I thought was better, and it's still got a 7, which that's disappointing. I don't remember the top edge being that bad, but this is my first Pokemon submission, really. I mean, first one I got back, because I sent the ones to PSA as well. They've had them for a lot longer, month longer at least, and they haven't even been graded yet. And then the non-hollow Dark Charizard got a 6. Which, I guess there's a little crease in the bottom, but like, I don't know. Alright, a 6, I guess, but it feels like that should have been a 7, at least. I guess it's a little creased, so yeah, that would be why. And finally, we have our 3 Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, one of them being our Arrow card. First is, yeah, these I knew were cooked. The backs and the corners, they were very bent, but they're cool cards. They're the Blue Eyes White Dragon from the set, so that's generally the most popular cards from Yu-Gi-Oh! We got a 6 on this one. This is the Ultra Rare from the 2002 starter deck. And then we have the Ultra Rare Glossy. I can't see the difference, but they do apparently. Again, same from the 2002 North American starter deck. 6.5. And finally, our reverse foil card. The Blue Eyes White Dragon reverse foil error got a 7.5. So I wanted an 8 on this, but again, I knew with all the Yu-Gi-Oh cards they were very clearly in way worse shape, like outwardly, where even if you don't know, you're like, yeah. That was my first set of grading cards for Pokemon that came back. This was mostly the ones I wasn't confident in, or what it was mostly expected here. I had a few that were damaged that I knew weren't going to get that. Hopeful for like a 7, but they ended up not. That's a couple of them I absolutely was way off on, but you know, it is what it is. That was my first time going through. I still have probably, I don't know, 50 to 75 cards like this to look at, to send in. I'll probably send them in to CGC if they're bad like these, and then I have a bunch of new ones too that I gotta figure out. So a lot of Pokemon to send in. So you got to think about this. What is your point? Are you doing it for a personal collection or resale value? Resale value, it's going to cost you more. Ooh, North American starter deck, 6.5. And finally, our reverse foil card. The Blue Eyes White Dragon reverse foil error got a 7.5. So I wanted an 8 on this, but again, I knew with all the Yu-Gi-Oh cards they were very clearly in way worse shape, like outwardly, where even if you don't know, you're like, yeah. So that was my first set of grading. So that was my first set of grading cards for Pokemon that came back. This was mostly the ones I wasn't confident in after I was really after close scrutiny. These were the ones I wasn't confident in. So like at 7 to 9s were what it was mostly expected here. I had a few that were damaged that I knew weren't going to get that. Hopeful for like a 7, but they ended up not. That's a couple of them I absolutely was way off on, but you know, it is what it is. That was my first time going through. I still have probably, I don't know, 50 to 75 cards like this to look at, to send in. I'll probably send them in to CGC if they're bad like these, and then I have a bunch of new ones too that I gotta figure out. So a lot of Pokemon to send in. So you got to think about this. What is your point? Are you doing it for a personal collection or resale value? Resale value, it's going to cost you more. It's going to take longer, but if you have a high-end card, you should send it to PSA, in my opinion. CGC is not a bad second. If you're looking for, from an expense standpoint, they're going to be quicker and cheaper. And they carry good weight still, not as much weight as PSA, but if I feel like this level of cards that I just showed, yeah, they're probably CGC level that you'd want to send, because the grades are likely not going to be at the top of it. Anyway, I appreciate you guys joining me as always. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for all the support. Look for future giveaways that could include some of these slabs.